Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay, and Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair bring you Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. It's time once again for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks, under the direction of Al Lewis. Well, it's always wise to obey the traffic regulations. And our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High School, has always tried to do so.
Especially since last week, when our beloved principal, Mr. Conklin, instituted another of his Drive Safely campaigns. Friday morning at breakfast, my landlady asked the reason.
What's behind this campaign, Connie?
Oh, same thing as last month, Mrs. Davis. Somebody parked too close to his car and scratched his bumper. And as if that wasn't enough, I got this ticket last Monday, right after he warned us about driving carefully.
But you didn't tell me about it.
I was afraid to mention it. If Mr. Conklin hears about it, I'm a goner.
What kind of a ticket was it, Connie? For illegal parking?
Not exactly. It's for speeding, going through a red light, reckless driving, driving on the sidewalk, and hitting a fruit stand.
Well, my goodness, a person's entitled to a little fun once in a while.
You don't understand, Mrs. Davis. None of it was my fault.
Oh, who was driving?
Nobody.
I know you haven't much money, Connie, but if we sell my Hudson, you can go away for a nice long rest.
I may go away without selling your Hudson. Fortunately, I asked for a trial by jury. I'm sure I can prove my innocence to them.
Well, I'm sure you can, dear. Now, how about proving it to me?
Of course. I simply ran out of gas, Mrs. Davis, so I parked my car on top of a hill and walked down to get some. Then some idiot tried to squeeze into the parking space behind my car, and in doing so, pushed it hard enough to start it rolling. When it came to a stop against the fruit stand, I ran over to try and back it off the sidewalk. That's when the policeman came over and wrote out this ticket.
But, Connie, why didn't you apply the brakes before it hit the fruit stand?
I told you I wasn't in the car.
Oh. Well, couldn't you explain that to the policeman?
I did, but he insisted that driving from outside the car is very dangerous. Anyway, he wouldn't listen to reason, and I've got to be in court today at 2 p.m.
But school won't be over by 2.
For me, it will. My problem now is to get off without Mr. Conklin knowing why. Oh, that's Walter Denton. He's driving me to school today. The mechanic is still picking peaches out of my fan belt. Come in, Walter.
I'll put up some more toast. Walter always likes to have his second breakfast with us.
There's no radiant sun in my universe.
Sit down, Walter. I haven't come up yet. What makes you so chipper this morning?
The movie I saw last night, William Bendix and Johnny Holliday. It shows that no matter how underprivileged you are, or that even if you run afoul of the law, there's still a way out.
You didn't get here a minute too soon.
Well, I was a little brought down after the movie when I took Harriet Conklin home. Now, I wasn't on her porch 5 minutes before her father politely asked me to leave.
Politely?
I jumped down the steps before he could kick me. What's the matter with you this morning, Miss Brooks? You look a little glum.
I am a little, but I'd rather not discuss it if you don't mind.
Oh, maybe I can help. What's wrong?
I'm afraid it's a secret, Walter.
Hello, Walter. I picked some cinnamon toast for us.
Oh, swell, Mrs. Davis. And how are you this morning?
I'm fine, thanks, but Miss Brooks could do with a little cheering up. That traffic ticket has her all upset.
Mrs. Davis.
So that's why you're glum. Well, when did you get the ticket, Miss Brooks?
Last Monday, Walter, but I don't want anybody to know about it.
Your secret will never pass my lips. So what did you get the ticket for?
Well, according to the policeman who made it out, it's for speeding, going through a red light, reckless driving, driving on the sidewalk, and hitting a fruit stand.
For that you got a ticket? Well, they're sure cracking down, aren't they?
It wasn't her fault. She simply parked on the top of a hill to get some gas.
Which I'd run out of. Then when another car tried to park behind my car, it was pushed and started rolling down the hill.
That's when it went through the red light, up on the sidewalk, and into the fruit stand.
Yeah, but there's one thing I don't understand.
What's that?
Before your car hit the fruit stand, why didn't you put on the brakes?
I had lost them playing canasta. Look, I'll explain the gory details on our way down. Right now, I've got to figure out some way to get out of school so I can appear in court at 2 o'clock.
Well, I've got an idea, Miss Brooks. Why don't you just take the ticket down and show it to Mr. Conklin?
Wonderful, Walter. Then I won't have to go to court at all. He'll hang me in his office.
We seem to have beaten Mr. Conklin to school this morning. His office door's open and he's not in it.
Well, it's just as well. I'll have another few minutes to think up a good excuse for wanting this afternoon off.
I'll keep you company till he shows up. Hey, come on, let's go in.
All right. Hey, what's this by his desk?
It's a fishing rod. Boy, look at this swell trout fly on the hook. Oh, I'm real good at fly casting. Hey, watch this, Miss Brooks. Look at me, I caught a wastebasket.
That isn't all you'll catch if Mr. Conklin walks in.
Oh, it's pretty early for him. I guess old Marblehead, Mr. Conklin, is planning a little fishing trip after school. Oh, boy, that's the life.
Yeah, it must be fun at that.
Fun. Here, Miss Brooks, just test this pole. Go ahead, grab hold.
Like this?
Right. Now, toss the hook at the wastebasket. Go ahead, you won't hurt anything.
Oh, but I've never done anything like this.
Oh, just throw it back first and then forward. Oh, there's nothing to it.
Like this?
Oh, yeah!
What was that?
I don't know, but it feels like a whopper.
Don't bother reeling me in. I'll come quietly.
Mr. Conklin.
Well, I gotta be running along now. I just remembered my inkwell needs filling.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Conklin. Here, let me help you get the hook out.
Stand back. If I'm going to be filleted, I'll do it myself. Ooh. There. It's out.
So are you. Just a little rip behind the knee of your trousers. I'll sew that up in no time.
Never mind, Miss Brooks. I'll have them repaired and send you the bill.
Oh, good. Mr. Conklin, I know you're not the type of person to hold a grudge.
Oh, I'm not, am I not?
No, sir, you're not, sir. You're not. That's why I'd like to ask you if I might have this afternoon off.
What? Miss Brooks, as much as I need the rest, request denied.
But it's urgent, sir.
That will be all, Miss Brooks.
But Mr. Conklin...
Dismissed!
Aye, aye, sir. Hi, Miss Brooks.
Oh, hello, Harriet.
I haven't seen much of you lately. Where in the world have you been keeping yourself?
Me? I've been fishing.
Fishing? You?
That's right. You should have seen the one that just got off my hook. Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, will continue in just a moment. But first, here is Vern Smith.
Now, tests published in authoritative dental literature show that when teeth are brushed right after eating,
Colgate Dental Cream stops tooth decay best.
2 years research at 5 leading universities, hundreds of case histories, shows that when used as directed,
Colgate Dental Cream stops tooth decay best.
yes, exhaustive tests show the Colgate way best to prevent decay. Better than any other home method of oral hygiene known today.
Based on both clinical and X-ray examinations, the Colgate way stopped more decay for more people than ever before reported in all dentifrice history.
Even more important, there were no new cavities whatever for more than 1 out of 3 who used Colgate Dental Cream as directed. Think of it. Not even one new cavity in 2 full years.
No other dentifrice, paste or powder, ammoniated or not, no other dentifrice has proof of such results. The best results ever reported for a dentifrice of any type.
So always use Colgate to clean your breath while you clean your teeth. And remember, when you follow the Colgate way,
Colgate Dental Cream stops tooth decay best.
Well, I spent every moment between morning classes trying to devise some way of getting out of school gracefully to make my appointments with the 12 good men and true in traffic court. By lunchtime, I still hadn't thought of anything and could visualize myself as posing for snapshots with my license plates hanging on my chest. However, when I met Mr. Boynton in the school cafeteria, I thought it best to conceal my dilemma. Oh, here's a nice table, Mr. Boynton. Let's sit down here.
All right, Miss Brooks. May I hold your tray?
If that's your best offer, go ahead. Thanks, Mr. Boynton. Your gallantry is quite overwhelming this afternoon. It was very nice of you to pay the check for all this food.
Don't mention it, Miss Brooks. With that tray in your hands, I realized you'd have difficulty reaching into your purse.
That was very thoughtful.
You can give me back the 50 cents anytime. No hurry about it, Miss Brooks. I know that you know I like to keep my books straight, and you always pay your debts, so why should I worry about it?
Mr. Boynton.
I also know that you're well aware of the fact that I don't make any more money than you do, so, well, it'd be rather a foolish gesture for me to actually treat for lunches.
Mr.
I
Boynton.
haven't a qualm in the world about laying out this 50 cents. I know I'll get it back. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not even this week. But I know that someday, some way... Thanks.
You're welcome, Sporty. Now let's dig in,
Oh, fine. You know, I'm happy to see that your traffic ticket hasn't spoiled your appetite.
No, I don't believe in letting... How did you know about my traffic ticket?
Oh, Walter Denton told me about it. I teach him third-term biology, you know.
Somebody should teach him to keep his mouth closed. He promised me that he wouldn't mention it.
Oh, he told me he wasn't supposed to tell me before he told me.
Oh, that's different.
You shouldn't brood about a traffic ticket, Miss Brooks, especially since you're completely innocent. There's just one thing I can't figure out about that accident, though. That's why you didn't slam on the brakes before you hit the fruit stand.
Mr. Boynton, it's faith such as yours that gives me the courage to stand up and quit. Honestly, if I have half as much trouble with that...
Mr. Boynton, mind if I join you? The cafeteria is filled to Kappa City.
Kappa City, mighty pretty country up there. Sit down, Stretch.
How's the old pitching arm, Snodgrass? You think we'll beat Clay City this year?
Well, I hope so, Mr. Boynton. But right now, I'm not too worried about athletics or my personal physicality. It's mentality I'm upset.
I can't understand it.
It's the final exams. They're coming up soon, and I think I might flunk some of them. In fact, there's only one subject I'm pretty sure I'll unflunk.
Oh, what's that?
English, naturally. My course. Now, look, Stretch. The fact that I've been patient with you and tried to help you stay eligible for athletics, shouldn't that influence you to relax in your study of English, you know?
Oh, I won't, Miss Brooks. From here on in, I'm going to stick my head in my books and phone like mad.
Well, you've certainly got the head for it. There's still a few weeks, though, Stretch, and I'll help you all I can. Now, will you pass the mustard, please?
Here you are, ma'am. Well, it sure does my heart good to see you eating. I thought sure your appetite would be shot.
Shot? Why?
Walter Denton told me about your traffic ticket.
You know, this would have been more of a secret if I'd published it in the newspaper.
Miss Brooks is completely innocent, Stretch.
Well, I know. We all know it's just a bunch of tramped-up charges. When you tell a story in court, Miss Brooks, they'll let you off in a jaffy. There's absolutely nothing to worry about.
Thank you, Counselor.
And remember, all us kids at school love you like our own mothers. So you can be sure you'll keep getting candy and things wherever they send you.
They're not sending her anywhere, Stretch. Miss Brooks is going down to court, stand trial, and she'll be back with us in a matter of hours.
Why, certainly, Stretch.
Of course, if something should go wrong... Well, is there any little gift or something you'd like to take with you?
Yes, Mr. Boynton, there is. I saw a wonderful doll in Sherry's department store the other day. It's called a Tiny Tears doll.
Oh, I've seen that. She cries real tears when you squeeze her.
Well, lots of dolls do that.
You keep out of this. I always say it's up to the doll and who does the squeezing. But I thought that a doll would be nice company in the cell you two have assigned me.
Oh, gosh, Miss Brooks, I didn't mean it that way. I was
Hi,
only...
folks. Mind if I join the group?
Well, if it isn't Paul Revere.
I told Miss Brooks that you told me, Walter.
What? Fine blabbermouth you are. Oh, look, Miss Brooks. I only told the people I thought would want to help you, like I do.
I'm sure he meant well, Miss Brooks. We would like to help you plot some sort of a defense.
I appreciate your interest, Mr. Boynton, but my immediate problem isn't the court itself, but how to get there. If you all excuse me now, I'm going to primp up a bit and take one more crack at Mr. Conklin.
Oh, certainly, Miss Brooks.
Lots of luck, Miss Brooks.
Yeah, take a crack at him for me, Miss Brooks. See you later.
Thanks for trying to help, boys.
Oh, boys, there goes a fine, upstanding young woman.
Those are the best kind.
Well, she won't be upstanding long if she butts up against Mr. Conklin. Now, we've got to figure some way we can spring Miss Brooks by 2 o'clock.
Spring her?
Yeah, get her out of here without Mr. Conklin knowing why. Now, wait a minute. I've got a thought. Suppose one of us were taken ill suddenly. Maybe we could get Mr. Conklin to let Miss Brooks take the stricken party home.
Yeah. Then when they get off the school grounds, she could go to court, and the one who was suddenly taken ill can get suddenly taken well and blow for the day.
No, I don't think that's a feasible plan, boys, at least as far as I'm concerned. Whenever I tell an untruth, I hiccup. It's psychosomatic.
Yeah, I guess it is.
But, Mr. Boynton, if we don't try my scheme, what will we do?
Well, we'll just have to think further, Walter.
Okay. Now, you heard him, Stretch. Keep that old brain working.
Please, not while I'm eating.
I'm all finished with lunch, Daddy. I just thought I'd stop by your office and see if you wanted something.
No, thank you, Harriet. I'm quite full. I've been eating my heart out. I just received a call that cancels my fishing trip.
What kind of a call, Daddy?
I've been called for jury duty.
Can't you get out of it, Daddy?
Harriet, shirking one's civic duty is totally un-American. Jury duty, like voting, is an honor and a privilege and a great American heritage. And I've weaseled out of it twice already. I wouldn't have to be there at all today if it wasn't for some stubborn female who insisted on a jury trial for a traffic violation. She'll get a jury trial all right.
But, Daddy, when do you have to leave school?
At 1:30, Harriet. And whatever you do, keep my going a secret. The minute anyone knows I'm off the grounds, they start cutting classes. They've got all sorts of excuses, but I know it's the weather. On these lovely days, cutting is a great temptation.
Is that why you were going fishing, Daddy?
Hush, child. Run along to your next class.
Okay, Daddy. See you tonight.
6 months I've been looking forward to casting this rod. Oh, what a beauty you are. Come in. Oh, it's you again. What now, Miss Brooks?
I'd like to go home, Mr. Conklin. I don't feel well.
Not 4 hours ago, you harpooned me with a fish hook. And now you don't feel well.
I'm not just thinking of myself, sir. It's the students. I might be suffering from something contagious.
Excuse me, Miss Brooks, but I've got to talk to Mr. Conklin.
What do you want, Denton?
I'd like to go home, Mr. Conklin. I don't feel well.
Well, what do you know, Miss Brooks? Denton's caught your malady already.
Beat it, Walter. I'm working this side of the street. This boy may be telling the truth, Mr. Conklin.
Oh, really, Mr. Conklin? I'm sinking fast. I think Miss Brooks ought to take me home.
I second the motion, Mr. Conklin. He must be sick. He looks terrible.
Yes, he does. But he's not sick.
Oh, sure I am. Look at my tongue.
Roll that up. And now put it back in its holster.
I'd better take him home, Mr. Conklin, before this spreads.
Mr. Conklin,
Yes, what is it, Snodgrass?
I'm sick as a dog.
Oh, fine. It's an epidemic.
Dropping like flies, aren't we?
I got spots before my eyes. I guess it's my appendix.
Do the spots look like your appendix?
Yeah, only bigger.
And would you say they look like my appendix?
Well, I got other things, too, like rheumatism. And infiltration of the sacroiliac. And,
How about hardening of the arteries?
I'm sure I got a touch of those.
Amazing improvisation.
Oh, that's been kicking up a lot, too, lately. Maybe Miss Brooks ought to take me home.
I've already been spoken for, Stretch.
Yes, Florence Nightingale is ministering to the wards today.
Pardon me, Mr. Conklin.
What do you want, Boynton?
Someone had better take me home, sir. I don't feel very well.
I beg your pardon?
I said... I'm sick.
And what, pray, are you suffering from?
It's only fair to warn you, Mr. Boynton, that we've used up appendicitis, rheumatism, and hardening of the arteries.
Now, see here, all of you. I know what's behind these shenanigans, and I won't stand for it. There'll be no cutting classes at this institution just because a few balmy days come along. I haven't time now to deliver the lecture you all so richly deserve. Suffice it to say, I'll deal with this problem later on. Now return to your classes at once. Dismissed!
Let's go, fellas. Now, that was a pretty scene. What'll we do for an encore?
We just wanted to help, Miss Brooks. I guess we got our signals crossed.
Hi, Miss Brooks. I left my purse in... Hey, what are you all doing outside Daddy's office?
We were trying to get him to do Miss Brooks a favor.
You picked a pretty poor time to ask him for favors. He's had to cancel his fishing trip so he can leave school at 1:30 and... Oh, dear, I wasn't supposed to mention that.
Harriet, did you say that your daddy's leaving the premises at 1:30?
Yes, but you've got to promise not to let it go any further.
It doesn't have to go any further. Excuse me, kids, but I'm going to take off right now.
Good luck, Miss Brooks.
Yeah, all the best to you, Miss Brooks.
Well, I don't know what came up that made our principal cancel his fishing trip, but I'll tell you one thing. I'd hate to buck up against old Marblehead today.
Your Honor, as a firm believer in our American system of justice, I have confidence in the fairness and impartiality of this jury. And if it pleases the court, I should like to address my remarks directly to them. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Yes, Miss Brooks?
I wonder how long it takes to become a trustee.
Miss Brooks returns in just a moment, but first...
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl.
Tonight? Yes, tonight, show him how much lovelier your hair can look after a Luster Cream shampoo. Luster Cream, world's finest shampoo. No other shampoo in the world gives you Kay Daumit's magic blend of secret ingredients plus gentle lanolin. Better than a soap, better than a liquid. Luster Cream is a dainty cream shampoo. Leaves hair 3 ways lovelier. Fragrantly clean, free of loose dandruff, glistening with sheen, soft, manageable.
Even in hardest water, Luster Cream lathers instantly. No special rinse needed after a Luster Cream shampoo. So gentle, Luster Cream is wonderful even for children's hair. Tonight, yes, tonight, try Luster Cream shampoo.
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl, you owe your crowning glory to a luster cream shampoo.
And now, once again, here is our Miss Brooks.
Well, I finally told the whole story of the accident, and largely so he could get out of court in time to go fishing. Mr. Conklin joined the rest of the jury in letting me off with a rather severe fine. That was Friday. The next 2 days were spent in a mad, gay whirl of sorting through those of my personal belongings which would bring the most in a hock shop. But Sunday afternoon, I determined to relax, so I headed for our front porch.
Hello, Connie, dear. Look who I've invited for tea.
Why, it's Walter and Harriet.
Oh, hi, Miss Brooks.
Oh, I'm here, too.
Mr. Boynton. Well, this is a surprise.
Hello, Miss Brooks.
Oh, hello, Mr. Conklin.
I think you've been punished enough, my dear, so when Mrs. Davis asked me to tea, I took it as an opportunity to bury the hatchet.
Oops.
I didn't mean it literally. Come back here.
I brought my portable radio on. I thought maybe we could hear the ball game while we're having tea.
Not now, Walter. Miss Brooks wants to relax.
Somebody just stopped in front of the house.
Yes, he's coming up to the porch.
Pardon me, folks, but I've lost my road map. Can somebody tell me which way is due west?
Oh, sure. It's on your left. That is if you're driving due north.
Of course, if you're driving due south, then due west is on your right.
Unless you're left-handed, then you drive straight up.
Just what is your destination, young man?
Hollywood, California. My name is Steve Allen.
Well, judging from the hand you got on this porch, you must be famous.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, unless I was tricked into it. I'm just an up-and-I-hope-coming radio comedian. I'm going out to Hollywood to replace Eve Arden for the summer.
Oh, Eve Arden, I've heard of her. She's a living doll. She's the one who plays the school teacher with my name, isn't she?
Yeah, Miss Brooks, that's her. Oh, there are some awfully cute characters on that show. One kid in particular.
Some of them are all right, but there's one that leaves me cold. Nobody could be such a stuffy, pompous, puffed-up windbag as that principal of theirs.
Oh, I don't know. There are people like that spread all over the country. People like that should be spread all over the country. But if you'll excuse me now, I've got to get back to my car and turn on the radio. You see, Eve Arden promised me that she'd give me a nice send-off on her last show, and it's just about time for it.
Well, you don't have to go to your car. We've got a radio right here. Turn it on, Walter.
Okay, Harriet.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Colgate Palmolive Peat Company, I'd like to thank you all for being such a faithful audience during the past 2 years, and to assure you that we'll be back again on September 3rd. Meanwhile, you will be entertained by one of America's fastest-growing comedy stars.
I'm 6 feet past my collar now.
A young man of great wit and charm.
Name's Steve Allen.
Named Steve Allen. And I, for one, will be listening to his program each and every one of the 13 weeks he broadcasts in our time spot. Good night, and thanks again.
Well, that's that. Shut it off, Walter.
Yes, sir.
That was a lovely speech Miss Arden made.
It certainly was. I can't help wondering, though, if she'll really listen to every one of my 13 broadcasts.
What else have I got to do? You've got my job. Good luck to you.
Next week, tune into the new Steve Allen Show, brought to you by Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair, and Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay. Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, is produced by Larry Burns, written by Al Lewis, Joe Quillen, and Lester White, with the music of Wilbur Hatch under the direction of Maurice Carlton. Doctors prove palm olive soap can bring you a lovelier complexion in 14 days. Yes, 36 leading skin specialists proved in tests on 1,285 different women that Palmolive soap facials, using nothing but Palmolive, brought new complexion beauty to 2 women out of 3. Just wash your face 3 times daily with Palmolive soap. Each time for 60 seconds, massaging Palmolive's beauty lather onto your skin. Then rinse. So start your Palmolive facials today. Remember, doctors prove Palmolive soap can bring you a lovelier complexion in 14 days.
For mystery liberally sprinkled with laughs, listen to Mr. and Mrs. North Tuesday evening over most of these same stations. And be with us again next week at the same time for the new Steve Allen Show. Eve Arden and our Miss Brooks will return on September 3rd. Bob Lamont speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay, and Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair bring you Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. It's time once again for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks, under the direction of Al Lewis. Well, the majority of our public schools start their fall semesters tomorrow. But our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High School, decided to go back last Friday. At breakfast, her landlady asked the reason.
Why are you going down to school this morning, Connie?
Oh, I don't know, Mrs. Davis. There are several reasons, I guess. I like to get my desk in order, see that the blackboards are all clean and ready. Besides, I won't be the only teacher at school this morning. A certain biology laboratory has to be put in shape for the coming term, too.
I see. And there's a certain biology teacher who's going to do the putting in shape.
That's right.
A certain male biology teacher.
Mm-hmm.
A certain male biology teacher named Philip Boynton.
Whee!
I might have known. You get a different look when you just start thinking of him. A sort of golden light floods your eyes at the mention of his name. It's like somebody stuck a fork into 2 poached eggs.
Well, that's a pretty thought. But I am fond of the bashful brute. However, there's something else that's been on my mind lately. I ran into some teachers the other day, and there's a rumor that some changes are going to be made in our faculty.
Nonsense, Connie. These silly rumors start flying around before every new term. Why, down at the Ladies' League luncheon the other day, I even heard that Mr. Conklin might be leaving Madison.
What? But without Mr. Conklin as our principal, Madison wouldn't be... Well, it just wouldn't be a high school anymore.
What would it be?
A paradise. I mean, who told you about his leaving?
Oh, nobody told me. It's just some Ladies' League scuttlebutt.
Well, I guess I'll find out more about the situation at school today. Walter Denton's driving me down this morning.
Oh, what's wrong with your car?
Oh, I had a little trouble with the drive shaft yesterday.
What happened to it?
It fell down an open manhole. It was nice of you to pick me up this morning, Walter.
It's a labor of love, old fair one. I promised to help Harriet Conklin get things straightened out at school.
Oh, is Harriet coming in today, too?
Yes, ma'am. I'm picking her up on our way down. She always likes to help old Marblehead, her dad, get things ready before school officially opens.
Yes, I know, but how come she isn't driving down with him?
Oh, their car's in the repair shop. The bottom of the motor's all ripped up. It seems some idiot left a drive shaft sticking out of an open manhole.
Well, it takes all kinds of drivers to make a world, don't I? How has Mr. Conklin been acting lately, Walter?
Awful. Even for him. Harriet told me yesterday he's been tense and irritable all week long.
That's par for the course, isn't it? What do you suppose he's worried about, though?
Oh, he got me. Well, here's the house, Miss Brooks. I'll go up on the porch and get Harriet. You wait right here.
All right, Walter. Tell Harriet to hurry. It's almost 1/4 after Boynton. 10.
Hi, Walter. You timed it just right.
Hi, Harriet. Come on, Mrs. Conklin. Is old Marble, is Mr. Conklin going along with us?
I don't know if he's quite ready yet, Walter. Just a moment, I'll call him. Oh, Osgood, want to ride down to school?
Who's driving?
I am, Mr. Conklin. Me, sir. Me, Walter Denton.
Me walk.
It's just as well. Daddy's been in a pretty bad mood lately. The walk will do him good.
Okay, let's get started, Harriet. See you later, Mrs. Conklin.
Bye, Mother. I'll be back as soon as I help Daddy get Madison organized.
All right, dear.
Have they gone?
Yes, Osgood.
Good. There's something I'd like to tell you about, my dear. Something I wouldn't want blabbed all over town.
Now, Osgood, that's no way to talk about your own daughter. Harriet never gossips.
I was not referring to Harriet. I'm talking about her idiot consort. If there ever was a marblehead, it's that boy. However, what I wanted you to know is that your husband, Osgood Conklin, principal, may soon be Osgood Conklin, assistant supervisor of schools in this area.
No.
Well, it's not definite, of course. As a matter of fact, I just read of my predecessor's transfer. But it shouldn't take the board long to pick out his successor.
Do you really think you've got a chance, Osgood?
Chance? What other principal has a better chance? The job requires tact, charm, diplomacy, and intelligence.
Do you really think you've got a chance, Osgood? I mean, if you are selected, when will you find out about it?
Probably within the next few days. That's why I'm going into school today and clean up my office from top to bottom. Never know when the head of the board might drop in.
But that suit you've got on it's practically in tatters.
Well, what do you expect me to wear around dirty desks and dusty files? My frock coat? Now, if you'll excuse me, my dear, I'll trot along to school.
Well, don't walk too fast, dear. Remember what Dr. Frank said. While you're on your diet, you mustn't exercise too strenuously.
Dr. Frank. Dr. Frank's fault that I've got to take off all this weight.
What do you mean?
If he hadn't cleared up my ulcer 3 years ago, I'd never have gotten so stout. Oh, well, food isn't everything.
Before you go, dear, I'd like to ask a favor.
Yes?
Lucy Snodgrass phoned a little while ago and told me her washing machine is broken. Naturally, I offered to put her laundry in with ours this afternoon.
That should make our laundry very happy. What do you want me to do about it?
Stretch Snodgrass, Lucy's boy, is coming down to school today to clean up the gym. He'll put the bundle in your office, and I'd like you to bring it home for me.
A charming assignment. Well, I'm leaving, Martha. You may kiss me now.
Thank you, dear.
At ease.
Well, here we are at school.
Dear old Madison. Oh, it's just heavenly to see your ivy-covered walls once again.
Steady, girl, steady.
Our school isn't so bad when you just volunteer to come.
I better get right into Daddy's office and start cleaning up.
Oh, what's your hurry, kids? It's a beautiful day. Why don't we sit out here in the sun together and chat for a while,
If you say so, Miss Brooks.
Well, good morning, folks.
Mr. Boynton.
So long, kids.
I get you. Two's company, huh?
That goes for us, too, Walter. Come on. You can give me a hand with the closet.
Okay, my sweets. Adios, dear teachers.
Bye, Walter. Well, Miss Brooks, are you all ready to plunge into another school semester?
All I've got to do is hold my nose and jump in. How about you, Mr. Boynton?
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I have heard some rather disturbing rumors lately.
Rumors?
Well, yes, I heard there's going to be some kind of a shakeup in the faculty this term. I hope it doesn't affect any of the teachers I know.
Like whom, Mr. Boynton?
Well, like Mr. DeWitt or Mr. Norman or Miss Enright.
Oh.
Of course, I didn't mention the one person whose dismissal would affect me the most.
And whose is that?
Mine. I couldn't afford to stay out of work for any length of time. It'd work a considerable hardship on my family.
You mean your mother and father?
Well, yes. They'd have to send me even more money than they do now.
But, Mr. Boynton, what makes you so sure you're the one who's going to be fired?
Oh, I'm not really sure. It's just that, well, if it were me, I wouldn't know quite what to do about it.
My goodness, to hear you talk, anyone would think you were some kind of helpless moron instead of a brilliant, handsome, personable, capable scientist.
Oh, me?
Yes, you. That's the way you should consider yourself always. What do you suppose would happen if you lost your job here at Madison? Do you think you'd have to pack your clothes in a bindle and become a hobo? Do you think you'd have to shuffle through life like this poor tramp coming towards us?
Well, no, but
I should say you wouldn't. Why, you'd... Oh, excuse me, Mr. Boynton. I've just got to give this poor old bum a few cents. Here you are, my good man. Get yourself a bowl of hot soup.
No, thanks. I just had breakfast.
Mr. Conklin, please forgive me, sir. I didn't recognize you in that old suit.
I'm wearing it because I have a lot of cleaning up to do today.
Oh, of course, sir. Miss Brooks didn't mean to be...
He never does. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Oh, here you are, Daddy. I found this bundle of laundry in your office. Know anything about it?
Yes, Harriet. It belongs to Mrs. Snodgrass. I'm taking it home to your mother this afternoon. Now, for heaven's sake, let's get into school and clean out my desk.
Yes, Daddy. See you later, folks.
All right, Harriet.
Did you hear that, Mr. Boynton? He's going in to clean out his desk.
And those old clothes he was wearing. Taking laundry home to his wife.
You know, he must be the one who's been canned. Dismissed.
Seems to add up all right. Oh, poor Mr. Conklin. How could the board do such a thing?
All these years as a principal, and suddenly... You know, Mr. Conklin has irritated me on occasion, but if he's actually out of a job, well, it's hard to hate a man when he's down. Now, this may not sound like me, Mr. Boynton, but I'm going to do everything in my power to show Mr. Conklin I'm behind him.
What are you going to do, Miss Brooks?
I'm going right in and help him clean out that office.
Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, will continue in just a moment. But first, here is Vern Smith. Reader's Digest reports the results of one of the most extensive experiments in dentifrice history. Yes, Reader's Digest reports the very same research which proves brushing teeth right after eating with Colgate dental cream stops tooth decay best. And here are additional important facts. Over a 2-year period, the Colgate way stops more decay for more people than ever before reported in dentifrice history. Yes, the Colgate way of brushing teeth right after eating stops tooth decay best, better than any other home method of oral hygiene. Even more important, there were no new cavities whatever for more than 1 out of 3 who used Colgates as directed. No other dentifrice, ammoniated or not, has proof of such results. The best results ever reported for a dentifrice of any type. And you should know that Colgate Dental Cream, while not mentioned by name, was the only toothpaste used in the research reported in July Reader's Digest. Yes, Colgate Dental Cream, and only Colgate Dental Cream, was used in this research. So always use Colgates to clean your breath while you clean your teeth. And when you follow the Colgate way, Colgate Dental Cream stops tooth decay best. Well, Miss Brooks was practically convinced last Friday that Mr. Conklin had lost his job as principal of Madison High. But knowing what a proud man he is, she refrained from mentioning it and spent the morning getting her classroom in order for the fall semester. About noon, she and Mr. Boynton headed for Marty's malt shop across the street.
Tell me, Mr. Boynton, have you confirmed our suspicions about Mr. Conklin's dismissal?
Well, no, I haven't. I've been pretty busy getting the lab in shape. We could be wrong, you know.
Uh-huh.
Well, here's Marty's.
Say, isn't that Stretch Snodgrass behind the soda fountain?
Yes, it is. Since when has Madison star athlete become a soda jerk?
Why not? He's a natural for the job. Let's go in, huh?
Hello, Stretch. What's the good word?
All right.
That's a pretty good word. How come you're working here, Stretch? I thought you came down to school to straighten out the gym.
Oh, I've done that already.
Stretch, I did that.
No wonder it looked so neat when I got there. Oh, I'm just minding this place till Marty gets back.
Well, where's Marty?
He's out to lunch, but I'll take your order, folks.
He's out to lunch? What's wrong with the food he serves here?
Please, not while I'm ordering.
Oh, the food here's all right, but Marty likes to change once in a while. He's over at Cesanini's. It's an Italian restaurant. You know, a pizzeria?
A pizzeria?
Yes, ma'am. They fix veal a certain way he likes it.
Scallopini?
No, they only charge 40 cents a plate. We got a veal cutlet blue plate here today that looks good. It comes with mashed potatoes and lima beans and includes dessert and coffee.
Well, how much does that cost, Stretch?
6 bits. Think you'd like that, Miss Brooks?
Sounds fine, Stretch.
Okay. Well, how about you, Mr. Boynton? Want some?
How much is 6 bits?
75 cents.
I see. How much is the pork chop blue plate?
Well, that's 65.
He'll take that.
I'll bring them both for 2 steaks of a lamb.
Good, Stretch. Now, about Mr. Conklin, Mr. Boynton, if he hadn't lost his job here, I'd feel awfully foolish if we offered...
Miss Brooks, quiet. He just came in.
Oh, hello there. Getting a bite of lunch?
Oh, yes, sir. Why don't you join us, Mr. Conklin, and sit right down here? Oh, Stretch.
Coming up. Right up, folks. Here's your lunch. Oh, hi, Mr. Conklin. I'm pinch hitting for Marty today. What can I get you?
I'll have some cottage cheese. Just a small portion, please. About 15 cents worth. A glass of buttermilk. The 5-cent glass.
Gosh. Is that all you're going to eat?
In my present condition, that's all I can afford to eat.
Yes, sir. I'll get it for you right away, Mr. Conklin.
Hi, everybody. Feeding your assorted faces? Oh, hello, Mr. Conklin.
Walter Denton.
There's room at this table, Walter.
Okay, I'll just help myself to some chow off this steam table. I'll be right over. Hey, Stretch, what's underneath this gooey-looking black barbecue sauce?
Oh, I don't know, Walter.
I'll take it.
If Denton is coming to this table, I'll sit at the farthest possible end of it.
Oh, but Mr. Conklin,
Please, I've little enough to eat. I might as well try to enjoy it.
Well, here we are. Guess what's under this sauce?
A bowl of noodle soup.
No, ribs. Spare ribs. Boy, what a dish.
Well, mind if I join you folks? I'm going to eat my lunch now, too.
Well, not at all, Stretch. Sit right down here.
Thanks. First, I'll bring Mr. Conklin his cheese and buttermilk. There.
Thank you.
Now I'll park me and my hot dogs and sauerkraut and baked beans right over here.
Mr. Boynton, we've got to do something about Mr. Conklin. He sounds like he's famished.
Oh, maybe we could share some of our lunch with him.
Oh, of course. Mr. Conklin, I've got a tremendous veal cutlet here. Wouldn't you like to taste a piece of it?
No, thank you.
Well, how about a nice pork chop, Mr. Conklin?
I can't touch them.
Walter, ask Mr. Conklin to have some of your spare ribs. I'm sure he likes those.
So do I.
Walter, I can't explain now, but your girlfriend's father's in a very bad way. He can't even afford a square meal.
What? Oh, gosh, I didn't know it was that bad. Well, I couldn't stand by and let a dog starve. How about a nice spare rib, Prince? Mr. Conklin, want some of my spare ribs, sir?
What am I, a disposal?
Oh, no, sir. We just believe in share and share alike, especially with our principal. You are our principal, aren't you?
Well, as to that...
Oh, Daddy, can you come over to your office right away? Mr. Stone is on the phone.
I'll be right there, Harriet. Tell him to hold on one moment.
Right, Daddy.
This is the call I've been expecting. Au revoir, my friend.
You mean you're leaving, Mr. Conklin?
I'll see you all before I go, I'm sure. Remember, everything happens for the best.
Well, then it's true. He's being fired.
Even Harriet didn't know about this. Oh, we gotta do something. If he's so broke he can't even order a decent lunch, how's he gonna feed his family?
I got an idea. Why don't we do what my mother done? Send laundry over to Mrs. Conklin. She's got a washing machine, and she could charge so much a bundle.
We'll call on all our neighbors. I'm sure they'll be glad to help.
And all of us will help Mrs. Conklin and Harriet do the laundry.
Ah, that's us. All for one and one for all.
In union, there is strength.
Old friends are the best friends.
Sic semper super, Thud.
It's awfully nice of you all to help out like this, but I can't help wondering what Mother will think when she gets back from her shopping trip.
It'll be a nice surprise for her, Harriet. But we got enough business here to tide Mr. Conklin over for 2 weeks.
Did you rig up the clothesline in the yard, Mr. Barton?
I did. I also put some up in the living room. We'll need every inch of space we can get. Stretch is still out getting more bundles.
I had no idea Daddy was in such dire straits. But with friends like you, nobody could ever consider themselves poor.
A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Your problem is our problem.
If I've said it once, I've said it twice. Sic semper super, Suds.
So you see, Mr. Conklin, the social duties that go with the position of assistant supervisor are most important.
Well, that's why I brought you to my home, Mr. Stone. I want you to see for yourself what a charming background for entertaining Mrs. Conklin has furnished. Under my supervision, of course. Right up these steps, if you please. Let's see now. Where's the key?
You realize that you'll be called upon to receive city officials, as well as many of our most influential PTA members from time to time?
Oh, of course. Of course, yes. Ah, here we are. After you.
Thank you. Now, what in the world is this? Sheets and towels hanging everywhere. Is this a laundry room?
Laundry room? Where did you have... How could you... Say, it does look like somebody's laundry.
It looks like everybody's laundry.
I can't understand this. Let's go into my den, and then I'll... Mr. Stone? Where are you, Mr. Stone?
I'm over here in the underwear department. Just what is the meaning of this?
I don't know anything about it, Mr. Stone, but I assure you, sir, that I...
Hi, Mr. Conklin. Business is great. Here's 4 more bundles.
Snodgrass.
But no time to kibitz with you now. I got to get some more stuff down the block. Oh, before I go, I'd like to remind you about that bundle my mom sent over. Whatever you do, don't put no starch in my running pants. I got to bend my legs getting over those hurdles, you know.
Wait right here, Mr. Stone. I'll get to the bottom of this at once. What the devil's going on here?
Oh, shucks. We wanted to surprise you.
Surprise me? Shut that contraption off, Boynton.
Yes, sir.
Now, speak, somebody. And speak quickly.
Well, we thought that...
Shut up! Miss Brooks, what are you people doing here?
Trying to help make both ends meet, Mr. Conklin.
What both ends?
Your both ends.
When we found out you were fired, sir, we thought...
Fired? I'm up for the most important job of my career. And the president of the Board of Education is standing in my living room right now, up to his neck in underwear.
We only wanted to raise enough money so you could feed your family.
Shut up! Miss Brooks, while I'm composing myself, I want you to go into that living room and tell Mr. Stone you're completely to blame for this outrage.
Me? But how can I?
I don't care how. Just do it. Because if I don't get this promotion, you'll never get me out of your hair. Now, Mark!
Yes, sir. Mr. Stone. You, Mr. Stone.
Who's that?
Oh, it's me, sir, Miss Brooks.
Where are you? I can't seem to see you.
You'd have a better view, sir, if you just dropped that little flap in front of you. Never mind. I'll walk around. Here I am. Oh, you really must forgive the appearance of Mr. Conklin's living room, Mr. Stone.
Why must I?
Because it's my fault. You see, my washing machine broke down, and Mrs. Conklin was kind enough to let me rinse out my personal things and hers.
Do you expect me to believe that this laundry is all yours?
That's what I hope you'll believe.
But there are 24 bed sheets hanging here.
I have twin beds.
And how do you explain the fact, Miss Brooks, that there are men's pajamas hanging here?
Pajamas? Well, I bought them for my hope chest.
16 pairs?
I got a lot of hope. Besides, I like to wear pajamas myself.
But these are all different sizes.
Well, sometimes I feel smaller than others. Right now, I could curl up in the cuffs. Oh, look, Mr. Stone, there's no use my trying to deceive a clever man like yourself. I'd better tell the truth.
Well, it's about time.
You see, we thought Mr. Conklin was about to lose his position as principal at Madison, so in order to help out until he got another job, we started this little laundry business in his home.
And who is we, Miss Brooks?
Another teacher and some of the students.
You mean that you felt such an intense loyalty for this man that you all rallied around in time of his need?
Well, he looked so hungry.
Well, I trust Miss Brooks has cleared this matter up to your complete satisfaction, Mr. Stone.
She certainly has, Osgood. As a matter of fact, she's been of great value in helping me to arrive at a decision about our new assistant supervisor.
You mean I'm it?
No, Osgood, you're out. Any man who commands such respect and admiration from his colleagues is much too valuable just where he is.
Mr. Stone,
That's my final word. Stay where you are, Principal Conklin. Good day.
Well, Miss Brooks?
I'm gonna wash that man right out of my head. I'm gonna wash that man.
As our Miss Brooks returns in just a moment. But first,
dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl.
Tonight, yes, tonight, show him how much lovelier your hair can look after a Luster Cream shampoo. Luster Cream, world's finest shampoo. No other shampoo in the world gives you Kay Daumit's magic blend of secret ingredients plus gentle lanolin. Better than a soap, better than a liquid, Luster Cream is a dainty cream shampoo. Leaves hair 3 ways lovelier, fragrantly clean, free of loose dandruff, glistening with sheen, soft, manageable. Even in hardest water, Luster Cream lathers instantly. No special rinse needed after a Luster Cream shampoo. So gentle, Luster Cream is wonderful even for children's hair. Tonight, yes, tonight, try Luster Cream shampoo.
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl. You owe your crowning glory to a luster cream shampoo.
And now, once again, here is our Miss Brooks.
Well, in spite of his chagrin at losing the promotion, Mr. Conklin must have been genuinely touched by our loyalty, because shortly after I arrived at home, Mrs. Davis came in with a package for me.
Look, Connie, this present just came for you from Osgood Conklin. Here, this note came with it.
Oh, let's see that. It says, Dear Miss Brooks, just a slight token of appreciation for your efforts in my behalf. Let it serve, too, as an admission that I have long underestimated your various capabilities. Please accept this package in the spirit in which it is offered, and for heaven's sakes, not too much starch in the collars.
Next week, tune into another Our Miss Brooks show brought to you by Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair and Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay. Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, is produced by Larry Burns, written by Al Lewis, with the music of Wilbur Hatch. Mr. Boynton is played by Jeff Chandler, Mr. Conklin by Gail Gordon. Others in tonight's cast were Jane Morgan, Dick Crenna, Gloria McMillan, Leonard Smith, Virginia Gordon, and Bill Johnstone. Doctors prove Palmolive soap can bring you a lovelier complexion in 14 days. Yes, 36 leading skin specialists prove in tests on 1,285 different women that Palmolive soap facials, using nothing but Palmolive,
brought new complexion beauty to 2 women out of 3. Just wash your face 3 times daily with Palmolive soap. Each time for 60 seconds, massaging Palmolive's beauty lather onto your skin. Then rinse and pat dry. So start your Palmolive facials today. Remember, doctors prove Palmolive soap can bring you a lovelier complexion in 14 days. Like mysteries that are as full of chuckles as chills, be sure to hear Mr. and Mrs. North every Tuesday over this same network. Don't miss the exciting and laughable adventures of these amateur detectives. Hear Mr. and Mrs. North every Tuesday night. And be with us again next week at this same time for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks. Bob Lamont speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay. And Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair bring you Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. It's time once again for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks, under the direction of Al Lewis. Well, the fall semester is definitely upon us, and our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High School, has more or less settled down to her accustomed routine.
Yes, and like many of my fellow teachers, I'm a firm believer in the old adage, early to bed. Only I've switched it a little. I believe that early to bed, early to rise makes a gal sleepy, poor, and bored. So whenever possible, I try to get some male faculty member at Madison to take me out for an evening. Any male faculty member will do, as long as he teaches biology and is named Philip Boynton. Last Thursday at breakfast, my landlady asked for a blow-by-blow.
Weren't you supposed to have a date with Mr. Boynton last night, Connie?
Yes, Mrs. Davis, I was supposed to, but he couldn't make it.
But, Connie, I thought that twice a week you and Mr. Boynton... Well, I thought that last night was your night to howl.
I did howl, but he still wouldn't take me out. Mrs. Davis, I'm competing with a new and dangerous interest.
You mean Mr. Boynton got another batch of guinea pigs?
No, he's joined the volunteer fire department. And unlike the old-fashioned kind, this group insists on practically the same tests as regular firemen. They practice at least twice a week. Well, it was nice to have almost known him.
But, Connie, you can't give up that easily. Even if Mr. Boynton is so interested in firefighting that he's joined the volunteers, there is still a way you can see him.
Start a fire?
Certainly not. You've simply got to get interested in the same thing that interests him. There's nothing like throwing yourself into a man's work.
I wonder how he'd like me, rare or well done.
I'm serious, Connie. You've got to help him with this practice. What's Mr. Boynton's current assignment?
The High Ladder Rescue. He gets his test in a few days. It consists of lugging a sack of meal down a ladder.
I've got it. This is your big chance. Surely he'd prefer you to a sack of meal.
As far as Mr. Boynton's concerned, it's probably optional. Wait a minute. There is a way I can help out. He hasn't got a house to put his ladder up against. Now, if I could find one for him...
You're both welcome to this house, Connie.
Oh, that's very sweet of you, Mrs. Davis, but where would you live? Oh, This is only a one-story house. He's got a pretty high ladder.
Then, how about your principal's home? The Conklins have a 2-story house.
Say, that's right. But Mr. Conklin would never let us use it. He'd be afraid the paint would be scratched or something.
Then use it without his knowing it. Wait until he goes out for the evening.
But suppose he doesn't go out?
Connie, who's coming to drive you to school this morning?
Walter Denton.
And who's Walter's girlfriend?
Harriet Conklin.
And who better than Walter would know how to get rid of Mr. Conklin for an evening?
Hand me my hatchet and grease up the pole. Here goes Connie Brooks' girl, Hotfoot. You certainly take good care of this car, Walter. Even the windows look spotless.
They should. I took all the glass out. But you said when you first came aboard that there's something you want to ask me. What is it, Miss Brooks?
Well, first of all, you're still going with Harriet Conklin, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm still trying to, but I haven't seen much of Harriet this week. Old Marblehead, Mr. Conklin, made her stay home every night. And worse than that, he stays home with her.
Well, Walter, I'll come right to the point. We've got to get him out of the house tonight, if only for a few hours.
Why tonight?
Because Mr. Boynton's got to practice ladder rescue. And if you ask me what ladder he's going to rescue, I'll slug you. You see, Mr. Boynton's joined the volunteer fire department.
Oh, I know. So have I. I've been practicing for those tests, too.
But your folks don't have a 2-story house.
That's all right. I don't have a ladder either. Mr. Boynton said I could borrow his as soon as he finds a place to practice.
Oh, good. Now, if we can get Mr. Conklin out of the house tonight, we can use his place.
Well, frankly, Miss Brooks, we'd have a much better chance of getting him out of the house 3 days from now.
What happens 3 days from now?
Well, that's 1 day after his 10-day free trial period on a new television set expires. And it's also 1 day before his 10-day free trial on the next set begins.
You mean he just orders sets on trial?
Sure.
Well, at that rate, he can keep getting free television till the whole thing blows over.
You see, that's what's so tough about tonight. Plus which, if he thought somebody wanted him to go out, he'd be doubly sure to stay home. He's like a child that way. You know, perverse.
You're right, Walter. Say, wait a minute. That gives me an idea. Maybe we can use child psychology on him. What happens when you tell a kid he must eat his spinach?
Would you mind using another vegetable?
Now, don't you see, Walter? Some people just naturally resent suggestion.
I get it. If you say Mr. Conklin is sick, he'll say he's well. Or if you insist he ought to stay home, he'll want to go out. Miss Brooks, you've got something.
Thanks, Walter. And when you find out what it is, be sure and let Mr. Boynton in.
How many times must I tell you, Harriet, that a principal's office is not the place to discuss personal matters?
But, Daddy, I just want to know if Walter Denton can come over to our house tonight.
And the answer, as it has been for the past 2 weeks, is no.
Daddy, you're frustrating me. Don't you see how deeply I care for Walter? Don't you realize that someday we're going to be married?
Married?
It's no use arguing, Father. Mother's often told me that when she had her mind made up to marry you, nothing could change it.
Not even me. But, Harriet, this is a school, not a Lonesome Hearts Club. I don't want you seeing Denton, and that's final. Now get ready for your first class.
All right, Daddy, I'll go. But remember this. Nothing or nobody can keep Walter and me apart indefinitely. Love will find a way for us, as it has for others. Even if we have to elope, we'll someday, somehow...
Good morning, Harriet.
Good morning, Father.
Good morning, Harriet.
Goodbye, Miss Brooks.
Walter Denton. Miss Brooks, I'd like to put a question to you as a woman.
1 minute, I'll get in the mood. All right, what's the question, Mr. Conklin?
What can a girl possibly see in Walter Denton?
Well, that's hard to say, Mr. Conklin. Different people see different things in each one of us. For instance, I'm sure that certain girls can see as much in Walter as certain men see in me.
Well, that's a relief. Now then, what did you want to see me about, Miss Brooks?
I just wanted to know if I could stop by your house tonight. I'd like to discuss a few changes in curriculum.
Well, yes, I suppose you can see me tonight.
Of course, it doesn't have to be tonight. I know you're home practically every night.
That's true. When I get home after a day's work, I like to stay put.
My grandmother was the same way. Wild horses couldn't get her out of the house once she started nudging 70.
I'm sure that my reasons for staying at home differ greatly from those of your grandmother. I have my books, my family, and other cultural pursuits.
Oh, I know. Who do you like in the wrestling match tonight?
Well, I think Tiger Schlepkovich will fracture the devil man.
Me too. Isn't television a great boon?
Yes, it is.
Especially to those who don't get around much anymore.
Miss Brooks,
I don't blame people of advancing years for staying home evenings. After all, it's nice to be within easy reach of your favorite chair, your pipe and slippers, your doctor's phone number.
My doctor. Miss Brooks, the reasons I have for staying at home have nothing to do with the advancing years or ill health. I could do anything today that I could do 10 years ago. Why, I could go out every night of the week if I wanted to.
I must admire your spirit, sir, but after all, I'm sure that wouldn't be necessary. Not as far as your wife is concerned. Although almost any woman would get just the tiniest bit envious if she heard that a young principal like Jason Brill takes his wife dancing twice a week.
Jason Brill? Dancing?
Only last Friday evening I saw him at the Silver Slipper Cafe.
The Silver Slipper? Did he say anything about me?
Why, yes, come to think of it, he did. I think he said, "How's old stick-in-the-mud Osgood?"
What? Why, that... You... Hello!
Well, you don't have to bite my head off, dear.
Don't dare me, you old... Oh, it's you, darling. Hello.
I forgot to mention it before you left this morning, but this is my thorough cleaning day, and you'll have to pick up some things for dinner tonight.
All right, Martha, I'll... Just a second. Why should we have to do any shopping today? We're going out to dinner.
What did you say, dear?
I said we're going out to dinner.
Osgood, I think we have a bad connection.
What's bad about it? I can hear you perfectly.
I know, dear, but for a moment there, I thought you said we were going out to dinner.
That's exactly what I did say.
But isn't it a little early to be celebrating? Our anniversary isn't until June.
Martha, we're going out to dinner, and then we're going to the Silver Slipper to dance. I'll see you later. Goodbye.
Well, goodbye, Osgood.
Too old to go dancing, am I? Miss Brooks, what was it Jason Brill called me again?
I can't be sure, but I think it was, "Let's live a little Osgood."
Brooks, starring Eve Arden, will continue in just a moment. But first, here is Vern Smith. Reader's Digest reports the results of one of the most extensive experiments in dentifrice history. Yes, Reader's Digest reports the very same research which proves brushing teeth right after eating with Colgate dental cream stops tooth decay best. And here are additional important facts. Over a 2-year period, the Colgate way stopped more decay for more people than ever before reported in dentifrice history. Yes, the Colgate way of brushing teeth right after eating stopped tooth decay best, better than any other home method of oral hygiene. Even more important, there were no new cavities whatever for more than 1 out of 3 who used Colgates as directed. No other dentifrice, ammoniated or not, has proof of such results. The best results ever reported for a dentifrice of any type. And you should know that Colgate dental cream, while not mentioned by name, was the only toothpaste used in the research reported in July Reader's Digest. Yes, Colgate dental cream, and only Colgate dental cream, was used in this research. So always use Colgates to clean your breath while you clean your teeth. And when you follow the Colgate way, Colgate dental cream stops tooth decay best.
Well, lunch period and I arrived at the school cafeteria at the same time. And by an unusual daily coincidence, I found myself sitting opposite Mr. Boynton. I was so pleased at the way I'd secured a place for him to practice for his firefighting test that I could hardly wait to tell him about it, so I didn't. Mr. Boynton, I found a place for you to practice your ladder rescue.
My ladder rescue? That's wonderful, Miss Brooks, but I didn't know you were so interested in the VFL.
VFL?
Volunteer Fire Laddies.
Oh, but I am, Mr. Boynton. I think putting out fires is wonderful. So much better than just letting them go on. But aren't you going to ask me whose home we're honoring with your ladder tonight?
Oh, yes, whose?
The Conklins.
The Conklins? But, oh, Miss Brooks, you know how Mr. Conklin stands on extracurricular activities. Even though I feel it's my civic duty to participate, Mr. Conklin would never...
Mr. Conklin isn't going to know about it. He and Mrs. Conklin are going out for the evening. You see, Mr. Boynton, I'd like to assist you tonight.
Well, what can you do, Miss Brooks?
Well, there's no law that says you have to carry a sack of meal down the ladder, is there?
Well, certainly not. I could carry a sack of flour. A sack of potatoes, or an old mattress, or a barrel.
You're getting warmer. Look, Mr. Boynton, I know how important this test is to you, and I want to help you.
Oh, that's all right, Miss Brooks. I can carry the sack down by myself.
This boy isn't paying attention. Mr. Boynton, what I had in mind was something more practical for you to rehearse with.
Like what?
Like me. You could carry me down the ladder. After all, I don't weigh any more than a sack of meal.
Well, that's true, and both your general shapes are about...
I'll make the... I'm sure it would work out fine, Mr. Boynton.
Well, I don't know. It's pretty risky. After all, there's a big difference between having a sack of meal over my shoulder and having you over my shoulder. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but I know there's a difference.
If, as, and when you find out what that difference is, you're going to be one surprised fire laddie.
Certainly nice of Harriet Conklin to let me use her room for this ladder practice, but I hope her folks don't come home.
Oh, they won't. Mr. Conklin's whooping it up tonight. Probably painting the town gray. Besides, Walter Denton will be practicing with us.
And we are well chaperoned.
Darn
Thank
it.
goodness.
If you're going to pass your test, Mr. Boynton, we'd better start. Looks pretty far down to the ground from here.
Oh, it's only 2 stories, and I'll be very careful how I hold you.
That's for sure.
Now, we'll use the fireman's carry. First, put both your arms over my left shoulder. No, let's see. Put your left arm over my right shoulder while I put my right arm under your left one. And place my left leg on the second rung of the ladder. Now, your right leg goes to the right of mine over the windowsill, and I... Miss Brooks.
Yes, Mr. Boynton?
Did you notice what happened to my left arm?
It's right here, Mr. Boynton. But I think there's something slightly wrong with the directions you've been giving me.
Why?
I'm carrying you.
Sorry, I should know that fireman's carry by now. All I have to do is get you over my right shoulder. Here we go. Yep.
Oh, come now.
Are you all right, Miss Brooks?
Perfect, Mr. Boynton. You've got a very soft shoulder.
Now hang on tight.
It's more important that you hang on tight.
Here we go. Hey, pretty creaky ladder.
Oh, I thought it was me.
Just a few more rungs. Now we'll set you right down on good old terra firma. There.
Thank you for a very pleasant trip.
Good for you, Mr. Boynton. That was a perfect carry. Don't you think so, Miss Brooks?
I'd do it again in a minute.
So would I.
So long, Walter.
Just a second. I've got to climb up to Harriet's room and practice getting some more valuables down to safety.
Where is Harriet, Walter?
Well, when Mr. Boynton and I take our test, they're going to simulate actual fire conditions. So Harriet went to borrow a smudge pot.
A smudge pot? Where are you going to take this test? In an orange grove?
That's just to make a lot of smoke, so we get the feeling that we're really saving somebody.
Oh.
Well, I'll see you in a few minutes, folks.
Well, don't carry too much down this trip, Walter. You've got the driveway loaded with bric-a-brac now.
Okay.
Well, Miss Brooks, it's quite a nice evening, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Especially for this kind of work.
If you don't mind a third opinion, I think it's a perfect night for this kind of work.
Why, it's a policeman. Hello, officer.
Yes, hello, officer. I suppose you'd like an explanation as to what we're doing here.
Take your time. I've already made a wild guess.
What do you mean?
The evidence is all around you. Now, let's not waste each other's time. Where's the getaway car?
Getaway car? Oh, officer, you don't think we're common, ordinary thieves, do you?
On the contrary, I think you're extraordinary. You know, it isn't everyone who'd put a ladder up in a driveway right off the street at 9 o'clock at night.
But, officer, you don't understand. I'm a teacher at Madison High School.
I'm a teacher at Madison High, too.
Poverty is no excuse. Do you know whose home this is you've been looting?
But, officer, we haven't been looting.
Look out below. Here I come, and I'm loaded.
Another Confederate with a lamp and a vase under his arm.
That happens to be Walter Denton, and he's a student of ours.
He's learned his lessons well. Here, let me give you a hand, son.
Thanks very much. Oh, that was a cinch. Oops, it's the law.
What are you acting so guilty about, Walter?
Yes, Walter. Whatever you do, don't act guilty.
Of course not. Just brazen it out. Oh, what am I saying?
Now, come along with me, all of you. I'm taking you down to the station.
But, officer, you've got to listen.
Good evening, officer. Hi, folks. Look what I got.
Another one. Where have you been? Working the other side of the house?
Look, straighten him out, Harriet. He thinks we're a bunch of crooks.
Crooks? But I live here, officer. I'm Harriet Conklin, and these are my friends. I just went down the block to borrow this smudge pot.
Smudge pot? And what are you going to do with that?
I'm going to put it in my bedroom.
And if that doesn't answer your question, you're a disgrace to your uniform.
Don't you see, officer? Mr. Boynton here and my boyfriend Walter have joined the volunteer fire department, and they're just practicing for their ladder tests. The smudge pot is just to make it seem more realistic. Well, look, here's my key ring with my name and address and the key to the front door. Doesn't that convince you that I live here?
Well, I could have been mistaken, I guess. I beg your pardon, folks.
Oh, that's okay, officer.
Anybody can make a mistake. Good night, officer.
Not so fast. I suggest that you be a little more careful about who you go around calling crooks.
What?
You heard me, and if it happens again, I'll have you back pounding a beat.
But I am pounding a beat.
Oh. Well, then, I'll see that you get a dirty badge.
Well, Martha, we're almost home. I only hope we're in time.
But, Osgood, driving home in the middle of the evening like this, I think your suspicions are fantastic. Just because we find out the Silver Slipper's been closed for a month, why should you get the wild idea that Walter and Harriet are eloping?
It came to me in a flash. Only this morning, Harriet threatened to run away with that lame-brained dunce. Then Miss Brooks came to my office with that cock and bull story about seeing Jason Brill at the Silver Slipper last week.
But, Osgood...
Miss Brooks instigated the whole plot to get me out of the house tonight.
But, Osgood, that's absurd. You might just as well say that Miss Brooks was going to elope with Walter.
Believe me, they deserve each other. Well, here we are. Martha, look.
What?
There's a ladder up against Harriet's window. They're climbing down right now. Come on. Stand right where you are.
Mr. Conklin, what are you doing home so early?
Never mind that. What are you two up to?
Watch out down there.
Why, that's Mr. Boynton coming down the ladder, but what's that he's got over his shoulder?
Looks like a sack of meal to me.
If that's who I think it is, I might as well be.
Yeah, here we are. Mr. Conklin, you're home.
Yes, I'm home. And not a minute too soon from the looks of things.
Now, there's no reason to get excited, Mr. Conklin. We'd have told you all about it sooner or later.
Now, that's extremely decent of you.
How could you do this, Walter?
Why not? He's had plenty of practice.
We know why Denton's here, but you, Boynton. How
How did you get into this?
He just answered a call for volunteers.
Volunteers?
Well, sure. And it was the same thing with Walter.
Yeah, it looks a lot more dangerous than it is. After all, it isn't like I haven't tried it before.
You've tried it before?
Many times.
But you're so young.
You're never too young to start.
Boynton, you amaze me. And so do you, Miss Brooks. I know you're extremely fond of Mr. Boynton, but just what did you mean by that remark about volunteers?
Well, it's fairly obvious. I just meant that Mr. Boynton will only be called upon in an emergency.
An emergency?
Certainly. Supposing the regular department is busy, somebody's got to put out the fire.
I don't understand a bit of this. What are these things doing in the driveway?
It isn't enough that you were all going to elope. You were taking my furniture along to set up housekeeping.
Oh, gosh, Mr. Conklin, we weren't eloping. Mr. Boynton and I were just practicing for our volunteer fireman's test.
A likely story. What does the fire department need volunteers for? There aren't enough fires in this town to keep a seltzer bottle busy.
Oh, I don't know, Osgood. It never hurts to be prepared.
Of course not. Now, take that smoke that's coming from Harriet's window, for instance.
Smoke? Martha! It's smoke! Our house is on fire!
Please, Daddy, don't get so excited. It's only...
Quiet, Harriet. A man's got a right to get excited when his house is on fire. Fortunately, Mr. Boynton is here to put it right out.
But that smoke's being caused by...
Never mind the cause. You're the cure. Up you go, Mr. Boynton. We'll show Mr. Conklin how lucky he is that we happen to be in the vicinity tonight.
Oh, I get it. Here I go, folks. I'll put out that blaze.
Don't you think we should call the regular department?
No, not with Chief Boynton on the job. Go to it, Chief.
I'm right behind you, Chief.
Miss Brooks, why are you climbing the ladder?
Because Mr. Boynton only knows one way to get down. Where is he going to find a sack of meal in a burning building?
Eve Arden as our Miss Brooks returns in just a moment, but first...
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl.
Tonight? Yes, tonight, show him how much lovelier your hair can look after a Luster Cream shampoo. Luster Cream, world's finest shampoo. No other shampoo in the world gives you Kay Duman's magic blend of secret ingredients plus gentle lanolin. Better than a soap, better than a liquid, Luster Cream is a dainty cream shampoo. Leaves hair 3 ways lovelier. Fragrantly clean, free of loose dandruff, glistening with sheen, soft, manageable. Even in hardest water, Luster Cream lathers instantly. No special rinse needed after a Luster Cream shampoo. So gentle, Luster Cream is wonderful even for children's hair. Tonight, yes, tonight, try Luster Cream shampoo.
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl. You owe your crowning glory to a luster cream shampoo.
And now, once again, here is our Miss Brooks.
Well, Mr. Conklin was so relieved when his house didn't burn down that he let Mr. Boynton, Walter, and myself go scot-free. It was still early, so I suggested, after we dropped Walter off, that Mr. Boynton could get a little more experience by climbing up to the roof of Mrs. Davis's house. Much to my surprise, he agreed.
Now, about this fireman's carry, Miss Brooks.
Let me help, Mr. Boynton. First, I put my right arm over your left shoulder, then my left arm around your right shoulder. Now, I join my hands behind your neck. Now, hold me tight, Mr. Boynton. Tighter. A little tighter, please. There, that's fine.
Yes, that does seem about right. But, Miss Brooks, where's the ladder?
Ladder? Don't be silly. I kicked that away long ago.
Our Miss Brooks Show, brought to you by Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair and Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay. Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, is produced by Larry Burns, written by Al Lewis, with music by Wilbur Hatch. Doctors prove Palmolive soap can bring you a lovelier complexion in 14 days. Yes, 36 leading skin specialists proved in tests on 1,285 different women that Palmolive soap facials using nothing but Palmolive brought new complexion beauty to 2 women out of 3. Just wash your face 3 times daily with Palmolive soap, each time for 60 seconds, massaging Palmolive's beauty lather onto your skin. Then rinse and pat dry. So start your Palmolive facials today. Remember, doctors prove Palmolive soap can bring you a lovelier complexion in 14 days. Be with us again next week at this same time for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks. Bob Lamont speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.